I was 100% wrong about Derik Queen. As you guys know me on this channel, and if you guys been subscribed to me over the past few seasons, I've been doing NBA draft content, and Derik Queen was one of the prospects I was particularly lower on just because he was not as mobile on the defensive side of the basketball, doesn't really get up off the floor as high, and that really takes away from some of the defensive upside that I saw him having. But offensively, there was a lot of talent, and I just didn't see how much he could be portable to any offense without having the keys given all the way to him. But over the first few games of the NBA season, Derik Queen looks like he's one of the best rookies in basketball, and he's definitely been the best rookie center of this draft class. And with all the things that is going to be going against Derik Queen in his rookie season, he's been thriving. As we all know, the New Orleans Pelicans traded their first round pick in this upcoming draft to move up in the draft to go get Derik Queen, and they're currently the worst record in the Western Conference, and it looks like that pick is going to be a top 5 pick in the 2026 NBA draft. So coming into this season, it didn't really matter how much Derik Queen did for this New Orleans Pelicans team. They were still going to look at this as a bad deal, and teams were going to underrate him. But I will say he has played very well for this New Orleans Pelicans basketball team, and he's kind of being the light at the end of the tunnel. So in today's episode of At the Buzzer Sports, we are going to be breaking down Derik Queen's game and how much he impacts the offensive side of the floor as a rookie. Let's get right into it. So I'm man enough or mature enough to admit when I was wrong. As you guys know, or for all my subscribers, you guys know that I've been covering the draft over the past season and a half. I covered the draft throughout the entire season last year, and then I covered the 24 draft in the off season right before the draft. And Derik Queen was one of the guys I was lower on last season. I did not hate him as a prospect. I always said he was talented. I just did not like the fact that he seemed like a player that wasn't as portable and needed the offense to be kind of ran through him for him to be effective. And I felt as though he was not as talented as a prospect to be that type of player. But it seems as though this season, Derik Queen has been proving me wrong. I mean, this season he's averaging about 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. And that doesn't even seem like really crazy eye-popping numbers, but if you guys watch what he's doing, I think he's been effective for this New Orleans Pelicans team. And this is a rookie who's going to have a lot of things going against him this season just because New Orleans traded what looks like could be the #1 pick in the draft for this guy. And I think that's where a lot of the Derik Queen underrated process goes to, by just what New Orleans had to give up to get him. And that puts New Orleans in a really bad spot. But if you strip that away and you just look at the player in Derik Queen, I think he does a lot of things well. And one of the things that I underrated was the strength aspect. I always look at a strength aspect with a prospect. And when I look at Derik Queen, I look at him and I say he has very good weights and very good strength to be a prospect coming into the NBA. That's a lot of things that I see a lot of younger centers struggle with, is just the strength that it takes to go from being in college and being to the NBA. But he moves other centers, especially getting downhill. And there's something I want to say about having the type of strength and mass to build a full head of steam when you're getting downhill, because that creates space for offenses. When you watch Derik Queen, especially in this past game against San Antonio, he was creating, or he was finding cutters to the basket, because you can't just guard him with a 5 to 6 foot gap and just not worry about his 3-point shot. For example, Derik Queen has only shot, or he's only made 2 threes this season, but he's finding cutters with his passes because you have to guard up. You have to stop that motion of him getting to the 3-point line all the way to the restricted area, because once he builds that head of steam, you're not going to want to step in front of that, because that's going to be a necessary and one situation or just a really efficient shot around the rim. Okay, so as you guys are going to see very early in this film session, is Derik Queen is going to have some of the best mismatch attacking potential in basketball with just his size, frame, and ball handling ability. And he gets the mismatch here on the perimeter against Devin Vassell. Now, I want you guys to notice the second he gets the ball in the post with his back to the basket around the 3-point line, he has the option to go to the rim. And Luke Cornett is saying, I'm not going to let that happen. So Harrison Barnes, I'm going to direct you to watch Trey Murphy in the corner. Derik Queen notices that immediately because he has the advantage here against a much smaller Devin Vassell. As soon as he notices, he makes the skip pass to a Trey Murphy, who's more than liable to knocking this shot down. That's a really efficient look for him and that offense. I want you guys to look at the wall that's going to be created in this look right here as I fix this real fast because my laptop is tripping. All right. 3, 2, 1. I want you guys to take a look at this wall that San Antonio is going to build right here, leaving lanes open for cutters. So Derik Queen gets the ball here. Mind you, this is another NBA center right here. This is another NBA center. Like, this is another NBA center. And they're building a wall where Carter Bryant is at the elbow and Stephon Castle is going to immediately send a double. So now he has the opportunity to make the pass to Saddiq Bey right here, who leads to another wide open three, or we're going to let the play develop and he's going to find the cutter to the basket immediately for another really good rim assist. We're going to start to see possessions where teams with smaller bigs just won't be able to guard Derik Queen. Now, he's not the tallest guy. He's about 6'9", 6'10", but he does have a level of mass and ball handling to where he's going to have a wing in Harrison Barnes who's not too much different from him in height, but the strength aspect just gets him to the rim immediately, and he finishes with a nice touch. I've seen a lot of teams try and put wings on him, which I don't necessarily love. I mean, maybe you would want to put a wing on him to try and disrupt his ball handle, but unless you have a wing that can match him in strength, I just don't think that's the best idea. We're going to see him get the ball at the top of the key here while he's trailing, and Jeremy Sohan is pressing him at the perimeter, which isn't the worst idea in the world. You want to stop him from building that full head of steam to the basket because, again, it's like a bumper car. You know, you're not going to be able to just put a body in front of him and expect a immovable force to hit an immovable object. If you guys get what I'm saying, I may have said that like completely wrong, but he's pressing him at the perimeter, which is not a bad idea. But once you factor in the ball handling and how he's able to control the ball, which is, once again, not perfect, but this is a rookie and not even halfway through his rookie season. So you would expect him to get better as a ball handler, as a decision maker, as a finisher. But you see the process and how much he's been able to space the floor out for guys like Trey Murphy, for guys like Herb Jones, for guys like Micah Peavy, for guys like Jeremiah Fears. And you really start to see like, okay, this may be a guy that we can create efficient offense with because he's been proving it to start the season. So I want to end this video by saying, and this isn't going to be a really long video. This is just a quick video to show you guys what Derik Queen is doing and how he's affected this New Orleans Pelicans offense. I will say I was wrong about Derik Queen. Once again, I still have my concerns with the defensive side, but I do think he is talented enough to lead some efficient offensive basketball with just the mismatch attacking potential that I've seen very early in his game. So I was 100% wrong about Derik Queen, and I am very intrigued to see how this moves towards the future. I don't know how he's necessarily going to play with Zion because they do have very similar games, just being kind of undersized for their position, but having really strong muscle mass and just being able to attack mismatches and get to the rim pretty repetitively. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do with that. But I think Derik Queen is really can lead out some efficient offenses, and we're going to see what it comes to in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ATB Sports 1. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at @TheBuzzerSports_. And make sure you guys follow me on TikTok at @TheBuzzerENT. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.